All right, so we're down to the third problem and final problem out of the exam. So I've already created this method called update cost because in this problem we're supposed to call a method called update costs in the exam service, and we're supposed to add $200 to the replacement cost of each element in this column here, okay? All right, so in the exam service, we have the method here. I think I've already added it. Let me see, did I add it here already? Yes, I did. Okay, so right in here, whoops, I keep doing that. Going back here. So the first thing I need to do is get a list of servers, just like I did before. So I'm going to go, well, we'll do var servers equals server repository, whoops, dot find all. Now this variable may be an array list if you used the method that I used in the previous video where I changed things over to return a list, or it could be an iterable if you didn't do that. The interesting thing is that this can actually be, if you want to explicitly give it a type, it can be an iterable regardless. And the reason is that this is an interface, okay? And ArrayList implements the iterable interface. So one of the characteristics of Java, when you have an interface and you have that's implemented on a class, is that you can use the interface to address it. So let me see if I can repeat that in English. What it means is, it doesn't really matter if this function is returning an array list or if it's returning an iterable explicitly, as it would by default. Either way, you can still use iterable server like this, an iterable of servers, like that as your return type. Okay, so let's see. Well, the things that we need to do here, we could do this with a stream, of course, but you're not required to. So in this case, we want to go through and add $200 to each column, okay? All right, so we can do this with a variety of different loop types, but one of the easiest, of course, is this for each server, and we'll do it like that. And in here, now we will put our code. All right, so we need to get the cost, current cost, and that's going to equal the server dot get replacement. Oops, not that. Get replacement cost in this case. Right, and then we want to say, now we need to add $200 to that. But remember that this thing is a big decimal, so we can't just do a plus equals or like what we might normally do. So what we're going to say is updated cost equals current cost dot add big decimal, new big decimal, and in here we're going to say 200. All right, so that's straightforward enough. And then now we just need to save that, right? So we're going to say server repository dot save, and then we'll say the server, but we didn't add it back in, did we? So we have to do server.set replacement cost, and we're going to set that to the updated cost. Okay, and now we should be able to run our code and see what happens. Okay, so there's no output from this one, so we need to go look at the database, look at our server table, and let's see. So sure enough, the 2904, it turns into 3104, and all the rest of these things are 200 above. Now, so that's really all there is to that particular problem, right? So you get the values, you update them, you save them. I did want to show you one thing very briefly that I ran into with IntelliJ. I haven't fully debugged it, quite frankly, to see why it does that, but it's a really kind of a bizarre problem. I think it's related to H2 and the auto server setting, which should make things work. But and it may even be an IntelliJ bug somehow. I'm not quite sure how that would be, but let me just show you what it is. If I run the application with this closed, all right. So if I run the application with this window open here, I get a very odd problem. It can't apparently access the H2 database. And the auto server equals true is supposed to solve that problem. I've gone back and checked my application properties. It does have it there. I've gone in and checked in the database configuration, and it does have it there as well. So I'm quite frankly not sure what the problem is, but that seems to be the case. The odd thing really is that it really just happens if I have this I have this open. If I run it like this. If I don't have it open, I just close the window and go back to looking at source code and run it, then the problem doesn't occur. So I thought I'd show you that. I don't know what the answer is yet to why it's doing that, but that can definitely throw you off. All right, so that ends the walkthrough of the exam. There will be a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you on Blackboard that I'd like you to answer if you're going to get the extra credit for doing this. So again, for extra credit, walk through, build the application using the techniques that I used, answer the questions on Blackboard, and that will count as major extra credit on the exam. And so anyway, I hope this helps you understand what's going on, and I'll see you in class.